for a checkmate here. Defend the bishop. Take the queen again. That's tough. I wonder what else X-Snoopy has in store for me. Castling on the queen's side. Let's open up this. Okay, so the queens are leaving the game. This is getting into quite a complicated position now. You're taking the rook. I will recapture. Threatening again. I come in here. chase me away now. What will you do? Are you perhaps going to go for the check with the bishop? Are you going to chase my bishop away? What will you do? You've gone for the check. I will evade with a sidestep to G8. How will you continue your attack? is taking quite a while, doing a lot of thinking. It's a very strained and tentative position. It's held together by current formation of pieces. You move one piece, and the whole integrity of it just falls apart. What are you looking to do in this position? Or are you just going to allow the time to run out? We will find out in the next minute if this game continues or not. The game is classed as abandoned and the win is awarded to me, which is a shame. But let's look in a way this game could continue. Now, there's a very strong position here, trapping my king, but not enough for a checkmate. The bishop could come back, but it's protected by the knight, and none of my other pieces can threaten the bishop. The bishop and the rook are threatening the knight. The knight is defended by the rook. I could get into a trade for these pieces, but I wouldn't want to give up too many pieces, especially since I was chased around the board in the opening, losing the queen as well, and losing a rook and a knight. I did also recapture the queen and a rook, but Exnopi is one piece stronger and with a very good position. I have this bishop pushed forward. A way that this could go could be to chase away the bishop. I'm going to not let it get captured, so I'll move it back. And another pawn comes forward. This breaks down the castle wall that the pawns are making. But in the event of, let's say, this knight moves, capture and check, it gives options to retreat. So this would be a good option against the bishop. here or here, the knight is attacking these squares. So if the bishop lands on one of these, I sacrifice a piece. And not for much else. If I move the bishop here, the knight can capture freely. If I move here, the knight can capture, the rook can recapture. But then that creates a weakness on this file. I'm no longer holding it. If I want to come back here, the rook will exchange, potentially with the bishop recapturing to evade the check that will come. So, not very good for me, especially with the bishop here or the king, because the knight would be, say, here attacking my bishop. I could recapture the bishop, but my position is weakened, losing a couple more pieces. So, coming here with the bishop, I would be looking at this pawn. This pawn is defended by the knight, and Exnopi might not wish to move this knight and sacrifice the integrity of this position. However, we have pieces down here that can coordinate very strongly in an attack on my king, and conversely, I have these pieces here attacking them. However, on this right diagonal, the bishop is attacking these light squares, so that puts me at a disadvantage. So, let's say the pawns are pushed. This, preventing this pawn from going forward. If I want to push this pawn forward, it is defended by the knight as well as the pawn here. So I would be looking at moving this piece here. However, that is defended by the bishop, which puts me under a lot of strain. So this move puts a lot of pressure on me. So let's see how this plays out. If I decide to push 2 squares forward, this square is not contested. It's backed up by this pawn and backed up on this diagonal by the bishop. So let's say Exnopi prevents my pawn from pushing forward further. My only other option then is pushing this pawn forward, or try to find another way forward. Bishop can't come here because the pawn defends this square, the pawn defends this square also, and so does the knight. The knight defends these squares as well, so this bishop can't really go anywhere. The knight, this square, as I say, is defended by the pawn, and the that seems like a good move. Now, X9B can recapture this with pressure the bishop again, but the bishop could just retake it freely, attacking the knight, which wouldn't be the best position. However, this pawn can be pushed forward, defended by this knight and this bishop, and attacked by my pawn. That would be a good move. Now, in this position, I would be thinking, shall I just take this and see what happens? No, because that would be bad form. I could move this pawn here, preventing this pawn from moving forward. But it's attacked by this knight and this pawn. However, these moving can open up options for me to counterattack with bishop and rook. So let's do that. Let's say X9B takes this turn to push the A pawn forward, blocking my A pawn. These, at the moment, can no longer move. We have a very tight space in the centre of the board, in the middle ranks. This is a very tense game. So, I capture, which threatens the knight here. This pawn is also attacked by this knight, but is also defended by this bishop. So, would X9B move this knight somewhere else, stopping my pawn from moving forward and having doubled pawns? This knight could come back. Not much use doing that, although coming here could come here and here, looking in a few moves to come here or here on the 5th rank on E or G. That could actually be a good move. The knight could come here, but then it removes the protection of the knight from the rook. So that would be bad, as would moving here to E4. So X9B could come here to B1, as I said, over the next few moves, looking to come to one of these squares. Potentially playing G5 to attack my bishop and aiding their offensive. So, this puts me in a difficult position now because my pawns can't really move except for this one, and my other pieces are very much stuck in the mud, tactically speaking anyway. see if X Novi would want to capture. Now, X Novi could capture, then my rook can capture the rook with check. That would be a bad move. So let's continue this theme of moving the knight forward. This again puts me in a difficult position. I do, however, with this knight have the option of check, but it's defended by this knight. I could capture the bishop, powerful piece. The knight would then be recaptured by the pawn. The knight capturing here would also give check. Which seems an option. Or I could move this pawn forward, hoping this knight moves. Let's see what happens here. Now, the pawns capturing gives either of these pawns a chance to move forward and then have to get past this pawn. So, still a very tough position. But one that X Novi would want to defend. Now, capturing this pawn on G5 is protected by the knight, as is the F4 pawn already here, so that makes a lot of sense. It does also open up the H file for me to go forward, however, with a pawn on G, and with a rook, and with knight, bishop, there's a lot of ways of defending this corner of the board. So X Novi could attack like that. Now, it's my move again. This knight is attacked once, twice, 3 times. Let's attack with the knight. Now this knight becomes a threat against the pawns here. So trade feels inevitable. Then capture with my rook. The game shifts. The king has escaped. escape squares. Bishop, take a couple of turns to attack the king. So let's bring the knight further forward. Now, the knight defends the square that the rook would check on, and the rook does not want to move forward to any of these squares, except maybe here, getting a fork, but both of these are defended by pawns. Losing the rook for one of these, being captured by pawns, would not be a good trade. Moving my pawn forward, then I would come in with a capture. So let's move the bishop forward, hoping to get a check here. Now, what would Snoopy do in this position? Snoopy could come here, stopping my pawn from going forward. So this time, the king recapture the bishop, really taking the sting out of Snoopy's attack. Now, this pawn could become more active, but we have a bishop attacking this, which would attack the rook. That could be very strong and create a play on this g6 square, protected by the knight, and with a pawn that could push forward as well, first to get rid of the bishop. So there's options there. So let's attack. Now, I could check if I have the bishop here, or the rook here. However, either check, the king can retreat to either of these squares. If the bishop attacks here on a3, the king can come to d2, meaning that if the rook comes forward for a check, I'm in position to capture. If the rook checks here on e1, king can come to b2, meaning that if the bishop comes to a3 to check, the king can recapture. So checking doesn't work for me. However, I have these double pawns. I can move these forward. So, quite a tough decision, really. Moving the rook, say to either of these squares to attack the bishop, both defended by pawns. Not ideal. Not really wanting to have the bishop come in against the bishop because the bishop would just take what the knight would take. So that doesn't work. Could move the king back, which could be good. I wouldn't want to move to one of the dark squares because knight comes in with jack. Then the bishop or the rook comes in, and then the bishop comes in. And we have pawns wanting to push very dangerously close to promotion. But I could move the king back, hoping to maintain some defence here in front of the king. So how would x-no be? Push. At this point, with either of us making a notable mistake, really, I think this game could go either way. There's ways that both sides are really attacking and defending in quite tentative ways, and because of the opening being so chaotic, a lot of early captures, and especially losing the queens quite early on as well, and losing other pieces as well, and with pawns sort of being stonewalled in the middle of the board, it's certainly an intriguing board, and if any experienced chess players want to examine this game, please do.